My name is Sara McQuinn. I'm a final year PhD student in the School of Nursing with Mary Rose Sweeney, Anthony and Sarah Jane Belton from the School of Health and Human Performance. This is a poster from our first study, which was quite a big study because it involves kind of two kind of different mini studies within the one big study, I guess. So we co-designed a school-based physical activity intervention. The project itself is called the Girls Active Project. So we worked with a designated disadvantaged school in Dublin, and we worked with the girls. So we developed we established a youth advisory group, which will be part of the PPI component, so public and patient involvement. So we got the girls involved in the actual design process of developing an intervention that would work in their school to hopefully increase physical activity levels of teenage girls, because they're low at a national and international level. So we went in, we recruited a school in Dublin. We established this is a very quick overview now, but we put together a group of girls who'd be interested in developing an intervention, and they were transition year students. Lovely group of girls, you can see from the image there. We had 5 to 6 workshops with them, and as part of that we did on the side we did a questionnaire and focus groups with other students in the school from first year all the way up until 6th year. So there's 287 students filled out a questionnaire, and the questionnaire and focus groups were based on a model you might be familiar with, it called Behaviour Change Wheel. So in step 4 of the Behaviour Change Wheel, they talk about trying to identify what actually needs to change in order for behaviour for the person to whatever behavior it might be, whether it be quit smoking or increase physical activity. In our case, that was increase physical activity. So we wanted to establish basically behavior change wheels. Within the behavior change wheel, there's a model called COM-B. I can try to give a quick overview, but it basically breaks down into capabilities, opportunities, and motivations that influence behavior. So we did that with every girl in the school, or 287 of them. This questionnaire to try to figure out what opportunities they have for physical activity, what motivations they have, capabilities, and what can we change in order to increase activity levels. And then we did focus groups as well to kind of build on that, so it gives it more context then as to why they're not reaching the physical activities, and what the school can do to maybe help increase them, or even create more opportunities for them to be more physically active. So at the very, very end of this first study, I guess COVID hit, but I still continued working with the school. We ended up finishing designing the intervention with the lovely group of girls there, the youth advisory group, and we came up with an intervention that the graph there on the bottom left of the post, as you can see, it just shows the current physical activity levels of the girls in the school. So from the 287 students that fill out the questionnaire, we asked them how they are, and it just kind of replicates, or kind of confirms the fact that most of them aren't reaching their recommendations, which is 60 minutes on average every day for 7 days a week. So as we can see from the graph there, from the 1.7% of them actually met the recommendations, which is 7 days a week of physical activity. But we could also see from a positive side that at least 89% of them met it 1 day a week. So they are capable of doing it. It's more, figuring out how we can maybe create opportunities for them to be more active, or what could influence their motivation to be more active. And when we broke it down, there was barriers, I guess, and facilitators. And the barriers, number one barrier was time. So they just didn't have the time to be physically active. For most of the girls, whether it be homework or other influences like competing priorities. So it'd be like they want to be hanging out with their friends, or other kind of competing interests. And then the facilitators, in one way as well, was their friends. So the friends were active, they were more likely to be active as well. And you can see from the poster there as well, belief and capabilities was quite a barrier for many girls. They didn't have the self-esteem or the confidence to believe that they could be active. So they mightn't identify as being sporty, and then that would turn them off from thinking that they could actually be active. And I was trying to say there's many different opportunities to be active. You can walk to school, or it was more of a mental barrier in that sense. The goals was complete priorities and a social influence. Yeah, so there were the three main kind of findings that we got from the focus group. And then when working with the girls, we finished intervention development, which resulted in a peer-led, school-based after-school program. So it's TUIs, the girls themselves would teach the program to girls younger than them from first to third year, and they get to choose the activity. So different to how it's run now in PE classes, where they don't really have much of a choice. They just go in and the teacher says we're doing football or we're doing whatever. But this in this girls active project program, they were allowed to pick, well, I want to do dance today, and then the following would be whatever. And it was fun, so it wasn't based on competition or performance based, or it wasn't there was very little competitiveness involved in it. So it was more of a fun atmosphere. It changed every week. The girls, it was more of a social enjoyment factor, were kind of what they wanted to get across. And it was once a week after school, so it was easy for them, so they didn't have to travel anywhere. It was straight after school, and it was with their peers, which came across as a very positive factor as well, that it was girls similar age to them teaching the class, so they could relate to them, and they were, in a positive sense, influencing their behavior. So once an intervention was developed for the last, when do we roll it out? March of this year. We again influenced by COVID, but we did it, we trialed it, and we did a feasibility study, which I'm currently writing up. That's kind of where we are at. I know it's a very, very quick, brief overview. But if you have any questions, my email address is attached there, I think. But if you have any questions with regard to this study, the design of it, or if you have any study or any questions with regard to PPI or behavior change wheel or feasibility trials, please just let me know and I can try my best to answer.